So during the last was the plan to lateral the ball in?
Just trying to do too much. Trying to be a hero, I guess. Call it kind of. I ain't see the dude back there try throwing the ball. Like I said, I was just doing too much, you know what I'm saying? So it just went down the ball.
So assuming the score was tied at that point, and was there any communication?
No, no, that was just me. That was it.
There's no communication in the hall.
I promise you, that was just me trying to make a play.
You told me what was the last message there in the huddle was just say, you know, just gonna take a shot here and then play for overtime.
Just run the ball, go down, go overtime, yeah. And I got the ball. I tried to make a play.
Did Mondre say anything to you and before you pitched it, like, hey, you know, head job kind of thing? You got a little bit of space there before you got your ball.
Not that I remember.
Pretty surprised that he pitched it to you.
I mean, whether he did or not, that ain't his fault. He gave me the ball. I gotta be smart with it.
Jacoby, when you turned to throw, did you see someone or did you fire it? Did you happen to see one? What did you see? Like when you saw?
I thought I saw Mac open. I didn't see Chandler Jones at the time. Just thought he was open, tried to give it to him, and let him try to make a play with it. But the score was tied, so like I said, I finished it down for real.
I mean, I just absolutely brutal. Welcome in another episode of the Clapp Trap. What a way to end the weekend, huh, people? That was just absolutely brutal. Jacoby Myers, I feel bad for you. I think you're a good dude and all, but man, you're gonna have to take it all today because what were you thinking? What were you thinking? What were you doing? You said it yourself. You're just trying to do too much. You're trying to be a hero. And I don't want to beat on you too much when you're down because we're all down right now. We're all down. And obviously we're all looking for somebody to blame and you're going to be the guy. I mean, there will be other guys too. Don't get me wrong, but man, it all starts right there. Jacoby, what the hell was that? Why, Jacoby? Why? Why would you do that in a tie game? It just doesn't make any sense. Why Ramondre Stevenson? Why are you even pitching it back to him? Why is anyone trying to make a play right there? What happened to the conservative Patriots that were just trying to stay in games? Let's not make any mistakes. Let's not shoot ourselves in the foot. What happened to that team? Huh? Now we're the crazy team that's trying to do way too much, trying to be heroes, trying to make the crazy Sports Center top 10 play. What are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, nobody has answers today, obviously. It is a terrible day in Boston sports. I mean, they're not the only team that lost badly over this weekend, and we're going to get into some other stuff too, but it's going to be mostly about the Patriots, obviously. There's a lot to go over with that. I mean, the season's done. The playoff hopes are gone. We're at a point in the year where now you're going to have to play against three of the hardest teams you played all year. You desperately needed that. You had 8-6 in your hands, and you literally threw it to the other team. You threw our season to the other team, Jacoby. Now we can talk about the fact that touchdown to tie the game up at 24 by the Raiders was not a touchdown. That foot was clearly out. We can talk about all that. I won't back off of that one either. I know that I hate when people just complain about what happened with the refs. And you know, you still have to go out there and win the game. And they still very much had a chance to win this game, at least go into overtime, see what's going to happen. But then you have this blunder that's just unacceptable, obviously. But I mean, let's not negate the fact that obviously that touchdown shouldn't have counted. That should not have happened. I mean, I don't understand how you can tell me that, you know, that foot was in bounds at any point. I don't know. When you see the toe drag or the toe tap right there, people are trying to tell you on Twitter, on social media, oh no, you can see the black in between his foot and the shoe itself. What are you guys looking at? I don't know what we're doing here. I don't know. You know, there's nothing good that you could say right now. You're just going to sound like a sore loser no matter what. I'm going to sound like a sore loser talking about this game because we're sitting here looking at a game that you had a chance to be involved in and you threw it away. You literally threw it to the other team at the worst possible moment. What did you think was going to happen, Jacoby? Once again, I don't want to it's tough. You don't want to get too much on Jacoby because what is he supposed to do? I mean, what are you supposed to do? Just keep kicking the guy when he's down? But what were you looking at? You just huck it as hard and as far as you can backwards towards our own end zone when time had expired and you're tied. You have a chance to go into overtime. And I'm not going to tell you that the team was looking good. Obviously, the offense looked like trash. Mac Jones goes 13 for 31, passes for only 112 yards. And you can say what you want about the play calling. He didn't make enough plays. It just was that's what it is. Ramondre Stevenson, who we thought going into the game was barely going to be able to play, he was going to be banged up, injured, not able to do what he normally is able to do. He dominated. He absolutely dominated. The offensive line looked great when we were talking about running the ball. That was awesome. So I was very happy about that. But the rest of the game, absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. I don't know what else to say. I mean, you have the Keelan Cole touchdown is going to be etched into my mind for a long time. And Patriots fans, especially the Patriot Homer type fans, are going to be latching on to that. We're latching on to, I'm seeing people comparing that and the Hunter Henry catch against Minnesota at the goal line that was called an incompletion. It's just been a terrible season overall, and now we're capping it all off by having one of, if not the dumbest losses in NFL history. Has to be. I mean, it has to be. I'm trying to rack my brain of anything else that could be considered that dumb, because that's what it was. No, I'm not saying anything that anybody doesn't already know. When you have a tie ball game and a chance to go into overtime, you take it. You don't just try and throw the ball around and do the lateral craziness to try and get a touchdown when you're not down, when you're tied up. It just makes no sense. I thought Jacoby was a smart individual. I thought he could understand the moment. He's acting like he can, and he just made a bad play, made a bonehead move at the moment. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. There's a lot of this that's going to be happening today. So the season's over. You're now sitting at 7-7. You had 8-6 in your grasp. You literally threw it away. I mean, it's not like everything was going easy. It's not like it was going to be an easy road to getting to the playoffs, but you've completely ruined those hopes now at this point. I mean, the Chargers won yesterday. They're at 8-6 now. The Dolphins are at 8-6. The Jets lost, gave you a little bit of an advantage there, and then you just go ahead and throw your own little spot away. I saw them talking about it going into the Sunday night game of Washington against New York. And they were saying before that, if the Patriots had won that game, they would have had a 64% chance to make the playoffs. 64%, which I don't believe that that's true. I think that it would have been a lower percentage. You're looking at the gauntlet of teams that was in front of you. Sure, maybe you could tell me that the Bills would have won enough and they wouldn't have been starting most of their players by the time we played them in week 18, or maybe you're going to be able to catch Tua and the Dolphins in New England, maybe some bad weather, who knows? You can try and convince me of that, but I don't know if it would have been as high as 64%. It's dropped all the way down to 20%. I don't even think it should be that high at this point either. So I don't know. We all knew what this Patriots team was. I'm not saying anything. I'm clearly just getting out my own frustrations right now. I'm not enlightening anyone on new things about this Patriots team. The coaching sucks. The players are not showing up at the right moments. You got Mac Jones crying and freaking out once again on the field early in the game because they're not getting in play calls at a correct moment for him, and he's freaking out and making the sideline look bad, making himself look bad. It doesn't look like a Patriots team. I mean, I know, and that's the thing that the analysts keep saying over and over. Whoever's talking about the game at halftime, whatever it is, they're all saying this just doesn't look like a Patriots team. This doesn't look how they do things. They're not getting the calls in from the sideline quick enough. They're not able to scan the defense and see what's going on offense. Sure, the defense is playing good. Kyle Duggar, absolutely amazing Pick six, stepping right in front, reading that route. Great job by him. Absolutely loved it. Defense had its moments where it looked phenomenal. You had great pressure by Judon, by Uche. Uche's been playing great. You had Christian Barmore back in this game. He was causing some havoc at times. But the offense is just so god awful. How can you expect to ever be in any of these games? How can you ever expect to have enough to even fight against a team like the Raiders, let alone going up against the Bengals or the Dolphins or the Bills or anybody who you're going to face in the playoffs if you were ever going to make it there? It's just brutal. It's brutal. As a diehard Patriots fan, it's brutal as somebody who wanted to be able to back up Bill Belichick this year. It's absolutely brutal. There's no way to convince anyone that this is anything other than a blown season. I don't think that you can look at this as any other way. I don't see even the most homer of homer fans could not look at this season and tell me one good thing that has happened for this Patriots team. Sure, maybe the emergence of Ramondre Stevenson, that's nice. Some of the defensive players, Marcus Jones, very happy about him. Jack Jones, even though he was injured in this one, happy to see some of the draft picks are good. But it was a completely blown season. A completely blown season. And yes, it's over. There's no way that you're going to win. Now at this point, I think that they're going to be so demoralized that you lose the next 3 games. I'm thinking that we're going 7-10 this year now at this point. I thought that maybe there was a chance for an 8-9. You pull one out, or a 9-8 kind of season. You win this game against the Raiders, obviously, was the thought. And then maybe you steal one against the Bengals, who are, Joe Burrow going up against Bill Belichick. Or like I said, Tua in cold weather in New England. Or maybe the Bills just aren't playing any of their guys in the last week of the season because they already have everything wrapped up. Maybe you get to that and you get lucky. But now, at this point, even if the Bills sat all their players, I don't think you win that game. We are demoralized. There's no chance you beat the Bengals. There's no chance, I think, even that you beat the Tua if it was 3 feet of snow and the Dolphins came into New England. I don't think that you still win. So I don't know. I'm completely beaten down at this point. It's terrible. People are talking about draft picks constantly. That's not what we do here. Usually, we don't really care about the draft because we're preparing for playoffs. I know it's been a long time, and I get it. Oh well, if it was now, it's pretty obvious that it was all Tom Brady, and that's all we're going to see is that's the case. But I don't know. I don't know what else to. Vance, you're killing me right now in the background. What are you doing? I don't know what else to say at this point. I'm completely beaten down. Firing Matt Patricia is long gone. I guess you're going to just stick with him. You're going to stick it out with him at this point, though you shouldn't. We were talking about this last week on the show, and maybe the worst thing that could have happened was the way that the Cardinals game ended up. Maybe they kind of got reinvigorated. Maybe Belichick was like, oh, you know what? Even though I was yelling at you, even though Mac Jones was yelling at you, Patricia, maybe you can handle at least the Raiders. Nope, can't handle it. Offense was terrible. Screenplays again at terrible moments. The routes that they were running were just covered so easily. The run game was working, as I said, but nothing else had any chance. You had one good drive by Mac in the offense late in the game when you had that long pass to Jacoby Myers and then the big run from Ramondre Stevenson for the touchdown. That was great, but otherwise, where was the offense? I know there isn't really an offense. Some of the people, especially the Patriots haters, are yelling at me right now, just saying, dude, there never was an offense. And it's pretty clear at this point that that's the case. It just hurts. It hurts. Why? Why, Jacoby? Why? I just... man, as bad as they've looked, as bad as the whole season has been, if you could have just pulled out this win, been at 8-6, and all the haters still would have been like, oh, you're a fraud, 8-6. And of course, you probably would have been. You would have been a fraud 8-6. But now it's just shoved right in our faces just how bad this team is. Absolutely no chance. There's nothing to look forward to at this point. Well, we're going to go get our doors kicked in from the Bengals this week coming up and just start the under 500 stuff. It's going to be impossible to listen to sports radio if you're really on the side of the Patriots and you want them to do good, you're not going to be able to listen to anybody this entire week or the next the remainder of the season. And that's all we want to talk about here in New England. We just want to talk about the Patriots. Yes, the Celtics are doing great, or well, not recently, and we're going to talk about that in a little while. The Bruins are doing great. But all that everybody wants to talk about is the Patriots at all times. And now all you're going to be able to talk about is how much they suck, how much Belichick and the coaching staff are frauds, how much Mac Jones isn't the guy. That's all anybody's going to be talking about now. So get ready for it if you aren't already ready for it, Patriots fans, diehard Patriots fans, homers, those types. Just shut it off. Shut off the radio, shut off the TV, I guess, all that. Stick your head in the sand because it's over. It's over. The season is over. It's brutal. It looked bad when we were at 6-6. You go out there and you take care of business against a bad Cardinals team. Sure, and they lost their quarterback right out the gate. I mean, we were injured too, but man, to have this in the palm of your hands, to have this right there for the taking, and you're just not able to handle it, and you do it in such a bad way, you are so stupid looking. You just looked stupid. What are we supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? We're just going to look on to next season, I guess. Start thinking about the draft. Start thinking about getting rid of and firing a bunch of coaches, right? Robert Kraft has to step in and tell you, Bill, you know what? I'm going to allow you to stay again here, but you're going to have to get rid of Matt Patricia. He's no longer in a role where he's calling anything. Sure, he can be on the staff, but he's going to be over here coaching only the offensive line, or he's going to be in the quarterback, or whatever you want. We all don't want that. I know, but that's what's going to happen. He was never the offensive coordinator, so it's not like they're firing him from that job. So sure, Bill, your buddy can stay on the staff, but he has no power whatsoever. I don't know if he'll want to do that. I don't know if he can. I mean, Matt Patricia's a weird enough dude. But I mean, you're getting demoralized right now. You're going to be demoted completely. And I don't know if you want to do that, but I don't see Matt Patricia getting a job anywhere else. So go be the assistant to the assistant now, Matt Patricia. You have to bring in a Bill O'Brien type or somebody of that caliber, somebody who actually has an idea of how to run an offense. You have to hope that Mac Jones isn't completely just ruined at this point. And that he can come back from being what looks like just a crybaby who can't do anything on the field, because that's what it feels like right now. You have to continue progressing the defense, sure, and that's great. That's been the only part of this team, just as Bill wants it. The Belichick defense is always good, or good enough, I should say. You have to go out there. You have to attack the offensive line, get more help there. Maybe you can move Trent Brown back to the right tackle position, go out and get a legitimate left tackle. And now all of a sudden, hopefully, if guys can stay healthy, Cole Strange looking better and progressing, your offensive line can be better. You already have a run game. Go out and get a damn number one wide receiver, please. I don't know. This is supposed to be a fun time of the year, a happy time of the year. This is Christmas time. I even changed the setup. If you're watching on YouTube, I got some Christmas lights going. I was trying to be happy. I got a Christmas shirt on. I'm trying to be happy. It's the time of year where you're supposed to be enjoying the holidays. But no, you can't do it when the Patriots absolutely suck. I don't know. There's nothing else to say. I mean, what do you want me to do? You want me to keep breaking down the game? No, nobody wants to hear that. Nobody even wants to talk about the Patriots right now. It's brutal. It's over. We're on to the next year. I don't care. I honestly, I don't even care if they go out here and they beat the Bengals somehow. The season is still over. Even if you somehow miraculously, the Bengals just completely flub up the entire game. Maybe somebody gets injured. You never want to wish that, by the way. I'm not wishing that on anybody. I hope nobody gets injured. But you go out there and some miracle, you win this game, and now you're 8-7. I don't care. It's over. It's over. There's no chance that you can tell me that the Patriots are going to make the playoffs. And I'm not saying anything that everybody isn't already thinking. That's where we're at. That's where we're at, people. I don't know what else to do. I got to stop talking about them. I'm gonna wrap these Christmas lights around my neck until I can't think about it. I don't know. Now I'm getting a little too down. So let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on past this Patriots team. Bury the season. It's all over. We got other teams to look forward to. You got the Celtics and the Bruins. So let's get into that. See you later, Patriots. All right. We got Celtics to talk about now. What is going on with this team? You lose back-to-back games to the Orlando Magic, and I know we are switching things up. You got Rob Williams, the return of Rob Williams, and that's going to change things. We talked about this last week. The return of Rob Williams changes the way that you're spacing the floor, changes the way that your offense works completely, and it's showing. You had another game last night. We scored 92 points at home, back-to-back home games against arguably the worst team in the league in the Orlando Magic. A team that is just looking for a good draft pick at this point. They're 11-20 now after beating you 2 straight games. They were 9-20 going into a home or an away for them in Boston, in the Garden. And we can't do anything. I know last night you had no Tatum. I get that. Celtics, it's always tough when you get into that position. We're trying to rest players. It's a long season. The team is 22-9 now after these 2 losses. So even after those last 2 losses, you're still in a dominant position. Tatum has done great. Brown has done great. The team looks good. But the problem is now, how much will Rob Williams affect the way that this team plays? Coming off the bench last night, that didn't change anything, right? He's still getting some minutes, 17 minutes in last night's game. But it was the other game, it was the first Magic game that I kind of was noticing as well, that when this team has Rob Williams out on the floor, it's like they're trying to force it and get him involved, which is great. And you want to get him back, and you want to get back to that high-flying, alley-oop having, Rob Williams having a great time out there. It's awesome. Love that. Great. But we're still kind of figuring out how that all works. Who's getting less minutes? Who's getting less shots? Who is the one that needs to be playing more defense now, focusing on defense instead of offense? Because we're not just that team. I think Jaylen Brown actually came out and said, you're not going to shoot the lights out forever. Eventually, things are going to change. We all knew that. We were talking, or we should have all known that. I was talking about it in previous weeks about how obviously they're not going to be the greatest shooting team of all time for the entire season. That's improbable to think that. You know what I mean? There's no reason to think that they would be able to do that. And that's not slighting against them. That's not saying like, oh, this team is actually bad or anything. They're a great team, but they clearly have the what the team needs to be able to get to the finals. This is a finals caliber roster. I've said it all year. I've said it, will continue to say it. This team has more than enough talent to win the finals this year. But you got to go through some ebbs and flows. You got to go through some changes. And when you bring somebody like a Rob Williams back into that team, a team that is known for spacing the floor all season, a team that loves to shoot the 3, now you got a lane-clogging big center in the middle of everything, and he's not going to space the floor as much, so it's easier to guard those other 4 guys out on the perimeter. It's going to change things up. So, yes, we need to figure out what we're going to be, figure out how to make this offense work. But still, come on. What are we doing? We're going against the Orlando Magic. We can't even handle them while we're figuring our crap out. You're going to tell me that they can go out on the floor in back-to-back home games and not be able to beat the Orlando Magic? I mean, I know that they got that Bonchero guy, and he did great over both games, scoring well. He was showing us why he was a top pick in the NBA draft, and the Orlando Magic got themselves what seems to be a decent enough player there. And Bol's out there, that goofy looking guy, which I like. I enjoy that. And they're going after this Wadabango or whoever the new guy is probably next year. That could be an interesting team, the Orlando Magic, in the future. They also got Cole Anthony, who I thought was going to be some kind of legitimate player, but I don't know. Now he's more of a bench prospect, it seems like, for them, at least right now. I don't know. I mean, I'm obviously just still in such a terrible place, terrible mindset from the Patriots. But if you give me a weekend of a Friday night and Sunday night loss to the Orlando Magic, it's brutal. It's brutal. So no, I think that they're going to figure things out. I don't think that anything really bad is going to happen, but it's going to take some time. It's going to be frustrating. And I mean, is this when everybody's going to come in and tell me, oh, this is when you needed a coach? This is when you needed Ime Udoka, when you have this team trying to figure out their identity again and try and go back to more of a defensive squad with Rob Williams, who should have been the defensive player of the year last year, by the way, back on the lineup, back in that rotation. I still don't believe you. I still think that the coaching doesn't even matter. I think that they will be able to figure their crap out. And like I said, you didn't even have Tatum last night, so that's a big part of it. But I don't know. We'll see how things go. You have an interesting schedule the rest of this month. You get to play the Pacers on Wednesday, a Friday matchup against the Timberwolves, and then it's the Bucks. So the Bucks is a good matchup, assuming everyone's healthy. That's going to be on Christmas. That should be a good matchup for this Celtics squad, preparing for a possible future playoff matchup in the Bucks. I can't wait to see that one. You end the entire month as well, playing the Clippers once again. So we're on a nice little home streak here, playing home games the remainder of the month. Let's turn it around. Let's figure out this defensive nonsense. Let's figure out getting Rob Williams in there as he starts to build his minutes up a little bit. I mean, you're not going to tell me that that we're in panic mode or anything like that, but it certainly hasn't looked good. I mean, you lost 4 out of your last 5 games. 4 out of your last 5 games. 2 to legitimate teams, 2 to absolute trash. So, I mean, losing to the Warriors and Clippers back-to-back hurt. Winning that overtime game against the Lakers, that was nice. But then you lose 2 back-to-back to the Magic at home. Come on, guys. Let's not get lackadaisical here, all right? I want Tatum to come out on Wednesday after a bunch of resting Monday and Tuesday, and having rested that Sunday game. He hasn't played since Friday. Tatum game upcoming against the Pacers on Wednesday. You can book that. Where's the bookie? Let's go out there and hit the Tatum over bet. Let's go for that one. We'll see how it'll be. I'm not worried about them whatsoever at this point. All right, we got one more team to talk about, and that is the Bruins. They're another team that, sure, they did lose to the Kings last week on Thursday in a shootout once again, because that's pretty much the only way that you can beat the Bruins, I guess. But you had the game over the weekend on Saturday against the Blue Jackets. I was actually in attendance for that one with my beautiful wife for her birthday. That was a great game. Some great seats for us there. And we almost got to see what was possibly one of the greatest things that can happen, I think, in hockey. And that is a possible goalie score. I mean, we almost had Swayman with a goalie score right at the very end of the game. If I could have seen that with my own eyes. I mean, when's the last time? I was trying to think of this. I probably should have looked it up before I even started talking about it. But when was the last time you saw a goalie score a goal in the NHL? Was it Martin Brodeur? Who was the last one that had a goal in the NHL? Because that's something that you rarely ever see. I don't think it's been a long time, I want to say, since the last time a goalie scored in the NHL. Last goalie to score. This is really riveting podcasting and radio right now. I'm literally looking it up as we speak. Last goalie to score in the NHL. Let's see when that was. This is some high quality stuff right now. Let me see here. Oh, I guess Pekka Rinne was maybe the last one to score back last year, or was it this year? Jeez. Okay. So you've had guys in the past like Martin Brodeur, Chris Osgood, Jose Theodore, Nabokov. You got all these kind of guys. Rinne was the last one as of 2022, the most recent goaltender to score a goal, a direct shot. And it could have been Jeremy Swayman that did it again in this one. That was an exciting moment. A game against the Blue Jackets that was getting a little chippy, a team in the Blue Jackets that have not been the way that they were in the past, obviously. They're having a down year. This is a team that the Bruins had faced off against in the playoffs before, and it was a tough matchup for them, physical matchup. It was physical again in this one. You had some chippiness, as I said, a little bit of back and forth, almost saw a little bit of a fight going on at one point, but otherwise, good win by the Bruins. Good win by the Bruins overall. Obviously, you get into this one here, And I mean, anytime I'm going into a game with Swayman, I'm not going to lie, I feel as though it's going to be an up and down battle. Now, obviously, he was great in this one. I still don't know how I feel about those brown pads that he was wearing. I like the glove. The glove looks really cool with that brown padding on there, but the actual leg pads and your blocker pad and everything, I don't know, with that old-timey brown look, I didn't really like it, if I'm being honest with you. But I don't know. I'm hard to please when it comes to jersey changes and color schemes and all that kind of stuff. I'm not really the guy to go to when it's that kind of a situation. But 31 out of 33 saves for Swayman in this one. Great job by him. He obviously had Taylor Hall, Krejci both scoring in the game, Pasternak as well. This was a good win for a team that is continuing to battle, continuing to prove that they are the cream of the crop in this league. And you love to see it. You love to see it. I'm going to continue talking about the fact that I missed out on seeing a goalie a goalie goal, which, man, that would have made my entire year. That would have made my entire 2022 if you could have seen Jeremy Swayman hit that one. I don't care what he had done all season record-wise in between the pipes. If he had got that goal, everything was washed clean. He would have been my favorite goalie of the season, even over Omar, who is having arguably the best season of any goaltender in the league. So it was a great win for a team that is continuing to prove it. You got a big matchup, I would say, tonight against a Panthers squad at home, a team that maybe their record doesn't show how good they actually are. Just last year, we were talking about the Panthers, the Florida Panthers, and the Tampa Bay Lightning as the two best teams in the Eastern Conference. Now you're coming back this year. They're just a little over 500, but a team that is good enough to compete with you and battle along, and they just beat you back last month right before Thanksgiving. They beat you 5-2. So a good test tonight for the Bruins going against the Panthers once again. And I'm assuming it is correct in assuming it is an Omar game. So we'll see what he's able to do as well with his 17-1-1 record. 17-1-1. Now I know that's a big part to do with how the team plays, and a lot of goal scoring has obviously been in front of Allmark, but he's also rocking what I believe is league best 1.83 goals against average and a .938 save percentage with 2 shutouts in the season. So he is doing his damn work. He's doing the damn thing, and I am excited to see some Allmark and this team. But man, I'm going to continue dreaming about the possible open net Swayman goal opportunity that missed by just that much. It was, oh man, I wish I could have seen it. All right. That's going to do it actually for today's episode. We will be back on Wednesday to talk more about everything going on with, I guess, unfortunately, the Patriots, the Bruins, the Celtics. Maybe we'll get into some Red Sox talk about how, they're just going out there and what they signed Turner from the Dodgers. We're just going to get older and worse. We'll get into that at some point as well. But I hope you guys have a good start to your week. I will talk to you again later on in the week. All right. Patriot season is over. We still got Bruins and Celtics. See you later.